Hello. Welcome to Alyssa Jean's Reviews. My name is Alyssa, and this is my monthly live chat. I see that I am joined here by Brandon Howells and Maddie Jester, the usual suspects. Good to see you guys in the chat. This week, I am Alyssa Jean, the Pinot Queen, because I am drinking some Pinot Noir. Yeah, see. I think I have to turn off the light so you can read it. And now turn the light back on so you can see me. Pinot Noir. This is, what is this? The Insider from the Sonoma Coast, California wine. California wine. I think I mentioned this in one of my previous live chats, but there's that movie Sideways with Paul Giamatti, and where he's like, "I ain't drinking no fucking Merlot," and like at the time, all I drank was Merlot, and but he was also like really snotty about his Pinot Noir, and he was just always snotty, like, "Oh, this Pinot." Pinot, I'm superior to you because I'm drinking Pinot, kind of thing. But that movie actually kind of turned me on to Pinot Noir, and I kind of drank it a lot after that, and I like it. I still like it to this day. And Maddie Jester says it's the 1915 Picard vintage. Yes. Is there actually? I heard there was actually a Chateau Picard, or at least a wine that you could buy called Chateau Picard. I should look that up because I would have to probably buy it. Yes, it's the 1915 Picard vintage before, World War II, and they were forced to England and developed English accents all throughout the rest of their history. So let me know in the chat what you all are drinking. Once again, it doesn't have to be alcoholic. I know that Brandon is in Australia, and it's a different time of day. So whatever, drinking tea, water, nothing, that's fine. I'm drinking some Pinot. Oh, and as you can see, I don't know if you remember last month, I had my camping stainless steel wine glass days for camping because I had broken all my wine glasses. Well, I got some new ones, so here they are. Oh, Brandon says there is one. Okay. I might have to check that out. So how are y'all doing? Let me take another sip and I'll get started. Yeah, I figured Brandon says it's no booze, it's just after 9 a.m. That's fine. I do have figured that. Honestly, 4 p.m. is a bit early to start drinking, but I will stop and eat dinner. So it's not like I'm going to be drinking from now until the end of the day. So you're drinking anything that's not boozy, Brandon? Just curious. Maddie says, I've got some Amstel this time. It's always fun to turn up these live streams, have cut a full afternoon in the pub. I'm going to guess by context that half cut is a way of saying you're really drunk or half drunk, or because that is not an American term, but I'm guessing by context that's what you mean. So, what was I going to talk about? Oh, the first thing I wanted to talk about. Let me take another sip, and I'm glad Maddie Jester's in the chat because I wanted to respond to your comment that you left on my Picard review, which I didn't get a chance to comment. So I figured, well, Maddie will probably be in the chat. I'll just comment in the chat. So the comment was in regards to my Picard review, where I was talking about how Picard says Kirk's Enterprise went to see, what was his name again? Oh, Gary 7. And that like really bothered me. And then Maddie said, well, I just figured he looked up. He read about the Enterprise, whatever. So I wasn't bothered by that. And I'm not going to tell you what to be bothered by. Like, if it doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother you. That's your opinion. But I do want to expand upon why it really irks me. It kind of really, really irritates me. Because, okay, so there's been hundreds of starships and hundreds of starship captains between the time of Kirk and Picard. And Picard is not going to read about every single mission on every single ship, and that would be impossible. It would take his entire lifetime to do that. And I understand the Enterprise is a well-known ship. It's probably one of the ones that are going to be more read about, I'm sure. But I would say only the important things. That's why I had no problem with Picard knowing about the slingshot around the sun. I mean, that's a revolutionary discovery about how a ship can time travel. So the fact that he would know, Kirk's Enterprise did the slingshot around the sun, that's totally believable to me. But I cannot buy that Picard would know every fucking mission that that Kirk went on, and there's like hundreds of starships to read about. He's not going to know every little mission for every one, and I just do not buy that particular mission is really important enough for Picard to have known about. Do you think Picard knows about cat's paw? Do you think Picard knows, Kirk's Enterprise went down to this planet with a bunch of witches going, and then in the end, the villains just turned out to be these like little stick figure things that look like a second grade art project making weird noises. It was really bizarre. Like, you think Picard knows about that? And the example that I used in my review, do you think Picard knows about the space hippies? Oh, yeah, Kirk's Enterprise. Right into a bunch of space hippies. Picard's not going to know about every fucking little mission that the Enterprise went on. There's just no fucking way. So it just bothers me that he would know this. Now, there's a simple fix to that. They could have provided a logical reason for Picard knowing that. Like, he could have said, like, because I think he was like teaching at the academy, I think. So he could have been like, when I was teaching at the academy, I was teaching a time travel course, and I was teaching my students of different incidents of starships going back in time, and I taught them about the time when Kirk's Enterprise went back to see this Gary 7, and I would have bought it. I would have been okay with that. Like, give us an explanation. How does he have this knowledge? Otherwise, it just seems like there's no way he would have this knowledge unless he's sitting there watching episodes of the original series, which I don't think actually exist in universe. So I will never buy, without any explanation, which they did not give, I will never buy that he would know that. And what also irritated me was how he was like, what was his name again? Gary 7, that's it. They're using this to try to make it more believable that Picard would have this knowledge that he has no business having, by making him struggle a little bit to remember the name of the guy and be like, what was it called again? Oh yeah, Gary 7. And they're trying to make it more believable, but I would say it does the opposite. It makes it less believable. It makes it more irritating to me. And they did the same thing in Discovery when they referenced Picard, when Culber was trying to come up with the body for Gray, and he was like, there was some guy named Jean-Luc Picard or something. I know he didn't say that. That's from Tapestry. But he was like, some guy named Picard or something like that. He, like, why? Like, it just makes it worse when they do that. It really irritates me. And like for that particular instance, I totally believe that Culber, doing some research, would have read about Picard going into the Gollum body. All he needs to say is, so I did some research in the year 2401 or whatever year it was. Admiral Jean-Luc Picard was put into this Gollum body, this robotic body. And that's the only instance. He doesn't have to be all like, some guy named Pickard or something. Like, it just makes it worse. Like, I feel that when they make these references to previous shows, that they should approach it the same way as if they were making a reference to something that happened outside of a TV show. So if Culber was, it found like some, I don't know, Admiral Billy Bob Johnson, that's a silly name, I don't know, whatever, like Admiral whoever, it went into a Gollum, but he wouldn't go, what was his name? Like, he would just state it. I was researching, I read this, and this happened, and that's it. They should approach it the same way with things coming out of episodes. I mean, it's much more believable and just give a short little explanation. Because if they were recording something from outside of an episode, they would have to give the audience an explanation. So do it the same way. Just explain like how you knew about that. Picard just gives a line about how he knew about Gary 7, rather than him going, what was his name again? Oh, it was Gary 8? Gary 9? He didn't do that. But it's so irritating. Just give me a reason. It just drives me crazy when Star Trek does that. And I'm excluding Lower Decks from this. Lower Decks makes a regular habit of having the characters have these knowledge of intimate details of episodes that they shouldn't have. But Lower Decks is different. It's an animated comedy. It's a parody. And they wouldn't be able to really pull off their gags if they didn't have the characters do that. So I totally forgive them, because that's really hilarious. Like, for example, I don't know that Mariner and Tendi would know who Armus is, let alone how to prank call him, but it was friggin' hilarious. So, and Lower Decks, like, that's its bread and butter. Like, it makes its living off of characters knowing things that they shouldn't know. But it's different because it's kind of a parody show. They're doing a lot of parodies of previous episodes, so I'm okay with it in the context of Lower Decks. But in any other Star Trek show, I am not okay with them suddenly having this knowledge that they shouldn't have, unless there's an explanation. If Picard had said he had taught a time travel class and he came across that case, okay, sure, okay. But otherwise, I don't buy that Picard knows every fucking episode of the original series. There's no way he does. No way. There's no way he does. All right. Let's see what's happening in the chat. Oh, I think I forgot to put my phone on silent. I hear a ringing sound. Well, I'll take care of that later. Okay, let's see. Brandon House, Picard would know every fucking mission when it's convenient to the plot. Exactly, and that's why it bothers me. It's plot convenience, plot contrivance. This is the kind of shit they always did with Spock in the original series, not with previous episodes, but with just general knowledge. That Spock would just suddenly know, like, whatever was convenient for that episode, like he would have knowledge on it. Like when they went back to that Western thing with the what was that crappy Spectre of the Gun? Where Spock was like, oh, according to your Earth history, how would he know? He didn't study the whole OK Corral thing. Why would Spock study that? That's ridiculous. But he always had this convenient knowledge, and it drove me crazy. And this is the same kind of thing. It drives me crazy. If you want to give an explanation, I mean, it wouldn't be hard to do, honestly, to just give an explanation instead of him having this sudden convenient knowledge just for the convenience of the plot. Let's see, Maddie says, haha, yeah, I suppose if we lived in that universe, we'd probably hear about some of those adventures, but not all of them. And Brandon says, it's very nudge, nudge, wink, 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 say no more, with the references in it. I don't mind that. I don't mind the nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I kind of like the callbacks. I think my brother complains about them more than I do. I like them if they are done well and they are natural to the story and they fit organically in with the story, and they make sense. I don't like the wink wink nudge nudge like this one that don't fit and don't make sense within the context of our characters. It drives me crazy. And then Maddie says Picard has Paramount Plus and watches it like Spaceballs. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Picard has a subscription to Paramount Plus. And he's watching episodes of the original series. I hope he's brushed up on the animated series too, so he can maybe make a reference to the animated series later this season. Drives me up the wall. Anyways, all right, hold on a second, guys. I'm gonna find out what I did with my phone. This is gonna be weird viewing, but where did I put my phone? Because it is not on silent. Okay. All right, now it's on silent. It's driving me crazy. Okay, so So, Brandon, have you seen the rest of the Strange New Worlds trailers? I know we had a little back and forth in the comments of one of my videos about that. And they were at the time there was only 4. Now I think they've covered all of the characters because they the last 3 they released were Una, Spock, and almost said Picard, Pike. So I think now that I assume they would end with Pike, and then that would be all the characters. And yeah, check them out, Brandon. I mean, it's just all of them are like 30 seconds or whatever, but I have to say, after I complained on my last live chat about how weak sauce the teaser trailer was, I actually am very pleased with this idea of having these different trailers for different characters. I really like that. I think it's a good idea. I would like them to bring it all together with one big trailer that shows everything like a normal trailer would. Not everything. I mean, not spoiling things, but you know what I mean. Like a normal trailer. Like I would like to see one of those before the show airs, but I bet we will get one. But I have to say, I think that's a great idea to have these little character trailers, teaser trailers. I thought that was actually kind of brilliant. I really enjoyed it, even though, yeah, they're definitely teaser trailers by nature. They're like what 30 to 45 seconds. I didn't accidentally look at the timing of any of them, but none of them are very long. But I think they're good. It gives you a sense of the characters, and I don't want to get into too much detail here because I am going to do a preview of Strange New Worlds the weekend before it airs. That'll be on Saturday, April 30th, and hopefully Mark will join me, and if not, I'll just come on here like I am now and just do it by myself. But Mark said he's probable for that, probably, but it would have to be 9 o'clock his time for him, which is 6 o'clock for me, which it would be. If so, the time of it, it's on April 30th, but the time of it will depend on whether Mark is there or not, because if Mark is available, then we'll definitely do it at 6 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock his time, because that's when he's available. If he's not available anyways, then I'm just going to do it at the same time I'm doing this video, which is at 4 o'clock my time, because I honestly prefer it at this time because it gives me more time in the evening to kind of cook dinner and then to go out somewhere if I want to, because oftentimes I do go out. But if Mark can join and 6 o'clock my time is the earliest he can do it, then we'll do it. We'll do it at that time. So I'll let you know. It's still a few weeks away, so I'll let you know as we get closer to it, the exact time that will be, and whether or not Mark will be joining me. But anyways, I don't want to get like in too much detail because of that. But I do have to say that I enjoyed seeing all these different characters, some of which I knew we were getting, some of them I had never heard of before, like, what was his name, Hemmer or something, like this blind Andorian who I think is the chief engineer, and like Ortega's, it's like the pilot, the helms person. That's interesting. And then the security chief's name Leanne Noonien Singh, and the writers showrunner or somebody has said that there is a connection between her and Khan Noonien Singh, but they're not telling us yet. And I don't know. I this is kind of tiptoeing around canon because I don't know. So Spock knew about Khan Noonien Singh before Space Seed? I don't know. I'm a little iffy on what, but we'll see where they're going with it. But the thing that I noticed about that character is when I saw that trailer for her, I was like, is that Drummer from The Expanse? It totally is not. In fact, I think that actress is probably much younger than the actress who plays Drummer, but she is her hair in the bun the same way. Her eyes are very similar, facial features very, very similar. Totally different person. But I was like, that would be badass if they had Drummer in Strange New Worlds. Can you imagine? Like Drummer flipping over to the Star Trek universe, I think that would be amazing. But it's not. It's just somebody with the same, like, she's got her hair very in the same bun, and I feel like her eyes are very similar. Like facial features are similar. Although this actress is, I think, part Asian, and I'm not sure that the actress who plays Drummer is or not. Um, but to me, they look a lot alike. I actually at first I was like, "Is that Drummer?" Um, so, um, let's see. Brandon says I've not seen four, so four of the trailers you still haven't seen. They were pretty cool. They're on YouTube. Maddie says, "Yep, they're pretty cool." Uh, Brandon says, "What's a normal trailer?" A normal trailer, like one that's not like about one little character, like it would just have regular scenes in it, like the Obi-Wan trailer, like the Doctor Strange trailer, like normal trailer. you know. Um, Maddie says, "I've got a lot of hope for Strange New Worlds. I feel it should be the show Discovery season 1 should have been." Um, yeah. Discovery season 1 didn't know what the fuck it was doing. That's the thing. Discovery didn't know what kind of show it wanted to be. And I think Strange New Worlds is coming in with a clear vision. Maddie Jester says, "I'm a disco fan, so I'm not throwing it shade." Yeah, and I agree. I'm a disco fan as well. Brandon says, "So my notifications for this live stream showed up 21 minutes late." Don't know what's happening with your notifications. You're going to have to ask YouTube about that. I have no control over that. None. Well, Brandon, I'm going to spoil I keep wanting to call him Picard because I was talking about Picard earlier. I'm going to spoil the Pike trailer a little bit for you because I wanted to talk about this because the Pike trailer does confirm when when Strange New Worlds is taking place in the timeline. It is definitely confirmed to be taking place post Discovery season 2, which I already knew, but I watched these other videos where we're like, "Ooh, we don't know. It could be taking place before Discovery. We don't know." And I'm like, it's got to be after Discovery. So I didn't have any doubt that it would be. But the Pike trailer confirms that because he is looking at, I don't know, pictures. I don't know how he got pictures of it, but pictures of his future. And like, "This has been haunting me. I know what's going to happen to me." And Spock says something like, "Knowing one's death is a hard thing," or something like that. And which is not really his death. It's his I mean, he's still alive, but it's not a really great fate. And he learned about that in Discovery in an episode that I feel like I like better than most people. Like, I kind of like that episode, the one with the Klingon time crystals. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like retconned and weird that there's a cult of Klingon time crystal people. But you know what? I appreciate that they were moving away from the monoculture thing, and like the Klingons aren't all warriors, and there's a sect of religious time crystal dudes. Like, I'm okay with it. Did they just make that up for that episode? Of course they did, but I was okay with it. And I liked how they messed with time in that episode. So I actually like that episode, I think, more than most people do. But anyway, in that episode, he learned what happens to him, as we already know from the menagerie. I do still feel like that. I think the medical technology of the 23rd century is such that they would be able to. That wouldn't be a thing. Like, they would be able to at least heal his skin, if not his legs. I think they would be able to heal his legs. So I think that. I don't know. Maybe not, because I know they had a hard time with like Worf in the Next Generation, and they had to do this experimental surgery. So maybe not his legs, but I feel like they could heal his skin in the 23rd century. I feel like it's been shown after the Menagerie aired, which was pretty early on in the first season of the original series. So yeah, I get it. Like, and you can't change canon. Like, you're married to that canon. You're stuck with that. There's no way they could say that Pike had a different fate. I think there would be outrage from the fans if they tried to do that, and I would be among them. I would be one of the people with the pitchforks and the torches if they tried to say that that's not what happens with Pike. So they're stuck with it, but I also think they could probably heal that, at least the skin condition. See what else is going on in the chat. The Maribi 3 cast case. Wait. The Moraibi had 3 casts, so there. What's that in reference to? Maddie Jester says, it's sad, but he ends up on Talos eventually. Yeah. Yeah, he'll end up on Talos and, get to live out a happy life. So that is totally fine. I'm a little curious, though, on the timing of the whole, like, Pike with the beard thing. I think my assumption, excuse me, my assumption is that takes place also post-Discovery. It's not like it could be a flashback to an earlier point in his life, but I think that's also post-Discovery. I think after he saw, what happens to him, he decided to take a little hiatus and, grow a beard and ride horses. And then he's like on sabbatical. That's the word I was looking for. Sabbatical, so that then in the trailer, like somebody's calling him up and like, come on, Pike, we need you back. Come on. Probably some Commodore. So I think he's the beard and the horse thing are because of him dealing with his, what he learned with the Klingon time crystals. Oh, hey, Life in the Void is here. Thank you. Let's see. Hello, just joined a few minutes ago. Daylight savings finished, and it's 9:30 Sunday morning here. Oh, so are you also in Australia? Where Brandon is? Or where are you? Maddie says that's a Babylon 5 reference. Oh, I am completely... Babylon 5 is a complete blind spot to me. No idea. No clue about Babylon 5. I'd love to see you in the Torch and Pitchfork. That would be... I think we're in the same part of the world. Oh, yeah. Oh, I just combined 2 comments by accident. First, he said, I'd love to see you with a torch and pitchfork. That would be fun. I don't know how fun it would be for the people that the torch and pitchfork are directed to. But, and then Brandon was talking to Life in the Void. I think we're in the same part of the world. Yep, Straya. You're both from Straya. I'm not even going to try to do your accent, but Straya. We'll just hit them. Well, my ramblings about Star Trek. What else do you guys want to talk about? Give me a moment to think. And if not, I'll come up with something. I don't know. I mentioned in the original description of this video, which I'll probably change. I think I mentioned the Oscars. Is the Oscars a thing where you guys are? Like, do people give a shit about it? I don't give a shit about it personally. But, there was a big to do about the whole Will Smith thing. And I only knew about it because I went on Facebook and instantly there was like all these posts about it, like immediately. And then like a million memes about it. And then the pitch meetings, I don't know if you guys watched the pitch meetings, but the pitch meeting this week was on a bad Will Smith movie called Hancock, which I forgot all about. I can't even remember if I've seen it. I'm pretty sure I did see it once. It's a terrible movie about Will Smith being a superhero, but he's kind of an alcoholic and he's not a very good superhero. I think I did see it. I definitely did see it, actually. And as soon as I saw that they were doing that, I was just like, they are for sure doing this so they can make an Oscars joke. And it was like they made an Oscars joke at the end of it. Like, there's no other reason to randomly do Hancock as a pitch meeting. Because who the fuck ever thinks about Hancock anymore? Like, that is very much a forgotten movie. So let's say Manny Jester is asking, I am assuming you're asking to do like rosé, without the little accenty thingy. It looks like rose, but I'm assuming in the context of wine you're asking about rosé. I didn't for a long time, but you know what? On a very hot day in the summer, a nice cool glass of refreshing rosé is nice. I do like it on occasion in certain circumstances, like in the summertime when it's really hot. But typically, it's not my thing. It's a little too sweet for me. I am not a sweet wine person, and I am following Brandon's advice or Brandon's suggestion. Have a drink for me, Alyssa. Okay, here I go. Cheers, Brandon. Um, oh yeah, and then Maddie clarifies below the wine. I mean, Brandon says or two. Okay, well, all right. And I pull my arm. Brandon says I'm not really interested. I saw the Will Smith thing. Not really interested in the Oscars. Yeah, I am. One year I did I told Mark to do a live. I wanted to do a live discussion about the Oscars, and we watched a bunch of the all of the Oscar nominated movies for Best Picture. Which now there's like 100 of them. There used to be like 5. Now there's always like 100 of them. But I don't know. Generally, I don't do that. I don't know if I've seen any of the. Yeah, I probably have seen 1 or 2 of the Best Picture nominated ones this year, but I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say about this. I was just thinking about it because it was like such a big deal this week. It's all anyone was talking about. And for the record, I'm on team Will Smith should not resort to violence and he should not be promoting violence. I think worse jokes have been made, but if he takes an issue with that, it should have been handled totally off the stage, and it should have been handled with words. I don't know. That's how I come down on it, but when it's all said and done, I don't really care. It's just hard not to have an opinion on it when everyone is talking about it all the time. Okay, what else? Let's see. I drank a rosé a bit when I was younger. And then Brandon says, nope, and I'm not sure what you responded to because it was a couple minutes ago. And Life in the Void says, I've never actually seen an Oscars. Isn't it always the morning for us? Probably is the morning for y'all. I now watched some YouTube video of someone who is located in the UK, and he said it's in the middle of the night for him. So he didn't watch, or he didn't know about it till the next morning for him. So for y'all, probably is in the morning. But yeah, I never watch them anymore. Like I watched them when probably like when Forrest Gump won it in like the 90s or whatever. Probably in that era, I might have watched the Oscars and maybe once or twice since then. But I don't usually watch it. Let's see. Yeah. Brandon says that the Life and Void made, I don't know, a bunch of dressed up people cheering themselves. Just seems a wank to me. Yeah. I know you were talking to Life in the Void, but I'm going to butt into your conversation and agree with you. So, yeah. Anybody watching Moon Knight? I will say that you could watch it without being super into Marvel or having a lot of knowledge about Marvel because it seems very disconnected. And the first 4 episodes were released to certain critics or whatever. Some of them have high-profile YouTube channels that I watch, and so I've heard some spoiler-free reviews of the first 4 episodes. And well, first of all, they're all very, very positive, but also they almost all agree that like, if not for the little Marvel logo at the beginning of it, you wouldn't even know it was Marvel because it's so disconnected from the rest of the MCU. And there's 6 total episodes, so they've seen the first 4. So maybe in the last 2, there'll be a bit more connection to the MCU. But I definitely got that impression from the first episode, which of course is the only one most of us have seen. And I kind of loved it. It's definitely unique. Definitely different from anything that I've ever seen in the MCU, but in the most positive of ways. Definitely more of like a thriller, and the guys get the split personalities, and it's set up as sort of mystery. You don't actually know what's happening, and we're from the point of view of one of the personalities that is not the primary personality, is not the Moon Knight personality. And I have a feeling we will see from Mark Spector's point of view, who is the main personality, who we do see at the end of it in the mirror there. And yeah, I think that's good. And how did if Brandon, you should watch it and tell me what you think of Oscar Isaac's British accent, because he is American. I actually had to look up if he was. I couldn't remember if he was actually British or American, because both accents sounded, genuine to me. But he is American, so when he does a British accent in that show, he's doing an accent that's not natural to him. I thought he did good. So let's go back up in the chat. Maddie says, I don't watch the Oscars, to be honest. They mention it in the news here, normally when Olivia Colman or someone has won an award, which is nice. Yeah. I don't really. Yeah, I wouldn't probably even have known the Oscars even really happened except for the stupid Will Smith thing. Brandon House says, Moon Knight, I've only just heard of it. Sorry. Well, I recommend it. I recommend checking it out. It's very interesting. Especially if you like Oscar Isaac at all. Maddie says, I don't keep up with the Marvel stuff. Do I need to watch any of the other stuff to understand Moon Knight? No, I definitely, you don't. You really don't. As I was explaining earlier, and you probably asked that question before I explained it, but yeah, the people who have seen the first 4 episodes have even say at least up through the first 4 episodes, like you would have no idea it was even Marvel at all, because it's just totally disconnected from everything. So I think you can watch it without knowing all the details of all the Marvel stuff. And I know some people who watch WandaVision without watching the rest of Marvel stuff. So, which I think that one you would need to have watched the other Marvel stuff to really know what was going on. But I know quite a few people who the only Marvel thing they've ever seen is WandaVision, which is interesting. I think because of the whole, sitcom format, drew in some people who weren't necessarily Marvel fans. Life in the Void says, okay, now you guys are kind of talking amongst yourselves here. Olivia Colman didn't see a really good British actor, and she's pretty good. I loved her in Peep Show. Yeah, and she did a spot in Doctor Who. There you guys go with Doctor Who again. I don't like Doctor Who. Well, I just never got into it. But you guys can talk about it. I'm not trying to stop you from talking about Doctor Who. Go ahead. Brandon says, we'll do, assuming it's on intermittently. Oh, shoot. Again, I combined 2 of your comments. We'll do, assuming it's on Disney Plus here. Yeah, I don't know what's on Disney Plus in Australia. It's on Disney Plus here. Your screen is freezing intermittently. I don't know what to do about that, because to me, I have no perception of that. To me, I'm just talking and it's normal. So I don't know. Hopefully, I hope it's not too bad, because there is absolutely nothing that I can do about it right now. Maybe I can look at after this video, look at my settings and see if there's something I can do for the future. But I'm not going to sit here and mess with it right now while I'm talking to you guys. So I'm sorry about that. Hopefully it's not too bad, and I hope it stops. Yeah, this week I think I came in prepared with less topics than I have in the past. So, but I don't have a time limit like I did last time, so I could be here for a long time if you wanted me to. But we gotta come up with some other things to talk about. I feel like I did have some other things in my mind that I thought we could maybe talk about, and now I'm forgetting what they are. Let me take another drink. Oh, Manny says he's watching a stream on his TV and it's fine. Oh, okay, so it might be a you problem, Brandon. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like after the fact, because I usually go back and watch my streams after the fact, and I have noticed lately that it's not too bad, but there's usually a moment here and there where the picture freezes for a couple seconds and you still hear me talking. Like that happened on my Picard review, which I did as a live stream. But it's not like too bad. It doesn't happen too often. Just like a couple seconds of where I'm frozen, but you still hear me talking. Um, so I have noticed that, but it's not like so bad that I'm really that concerned about it. Um, but this one, since Maddie's okay, I think it sounds like a you problem, Brandon. Um, is that a phrase that you ever hear in your country? That's a you problem. um, there was a meme that I saw recently. Or it was probably a retweet where a guy was like, "I've decided as I'm going to do a social experiment where I'm going to answer every work email with that's a you. That sounds like a you problem. That would get you fired." Okay, Manny, random question: do you have any bears where you live? And then Life of the Void says, or raccoons. Well, they're not hanging out in the back of my apartment or anything, but um, there are bears in the state of Oregon. Um, and I do a lot of backpacking and hiking and things like that. I spend a lot of time in the woods. But to be honest, most of the bears that I've ever encountered are usually in Washington, the state of Washington, which, if you know the United States map at all, like there's California on the West Coast, is California, which is like this long ass thing that takes up most of the West Coast, and then Oregon is above that, and Washington is above that. Um, and I've seen most of the bears that I've ever seen either up in Washington or in California. Bears are like there's a bear on the California state flag, and there's a reason for that. Like bears are more prominent down there. And also Southern Oregon. I've seen them in Southern Oregon, but the hikes and backpacking trips into the woods that I've done a little bit closer to Portland they're there. The bears are definitely they exist, but I've never seen them there. But they're more prominent a little further south. Um, but the bears that we have, like in on the West Coast, are like the brown bears mostly, and they're not the grizzlies. They're not the ones that you always see in movies, like chasing people, like the big ones. The brown bears are docile. They're more scared of you than you are of them. The only thing you might have to worry about is if there's cubs involved, because they'll get protective of their cubs. But otherwise, they'll just run away from you. It's not a big deal. Um, Actually, when I was in Scotland, 12 years ago now. Oh my God, I'm old. I was like 2010. I was in Scotland with my ex, and we were hiking the West Highland Way, and we hike. It's like a 95-mile hike. We got to the end, and there's no bears here, believe me. There's no in fact, in Scotland, I thought it was so weird that when you're backpacking and you set up your tent, you can just have your food in the tent with you. It felt dirty to me. It felt weird. Like, but what about the bears? Like, because here in the States, even though we don't see the bears, you have to hang your food up in a tree, not just for bears, but for other animals getting into it. But in Scotland, like, you just have your food in the tent with you, and I was like, this is I don't know. This feels wrong to me. But anyways, like we get to the end of the hike, and then or I think they call it a trek there, or I forget the term. But get to the end of it, and then you get on the train, go back to where you started on the train. And on the train, we met. Well, actually, there was this young British couple that we had met. Um, earlier in the hike, they actually like gave up. They were going in the opposite direction that we were on the hike, and they weren't prepared for it. They gave up and were going back. But we were talking to them, and then she was asking me about bears too, and I was telling her about the bears, and And like how you have to hang your food up because there's bears. And she was like, "Oh, you're so brave." And I'm like, "Not really," because they're so docile. Um, the grizzlies, like the ones that like could eat you, are more aggressive. They're in Alaska. They are in Yellowstone National Park, like in Wyoming, Montana. But even then, like, if you don't fuck with them, they're probably not going to fuck with you, most likely. Hollywood likes to make it out like bears are going to eat you. Um, so I've gone on a really long story, and you guys have talked about a lot more things. Life in the Void asked about raccoons. Yeah, those are in the city. Like, those are everywhere. I hate fucking raccoons. I'm sorry, but like, yeah, they're little fuckers. It's like they'll get into your garbage cans. They'll eat all your garbage. Um, and when I lived, I for a little while I was living outside of the city in the woods near Mount Hood, and yeah, you definitely couldn't like leave any. If you accidentally left any food out overnight, the raccoons would come. But even in the city, you have to worry about them sometimes. Like, they're in the city too. Like, yeah, those little fuckers. Brandon says, "I noticed both you and Mark hit your desk in frustration while reviewing the most recent Picard episode. Maybe it's a Tamargo trait." Yeah, I don't know. I think that's I don't know. I never gave that much thought. Maybe that's something that my dad used to do, and we've learned to do it. Like, God damn it! He wouldn't know about Assignment Earth. God damn it! And besides, Assignment Earth shouldn't have been an episode that they cover. Like, it should be swept under the rug. Yeah, I don't know. That's a very interesting observation, Brandon. I don't know. Although I did want to tell you, Brandon, if you could avoid using our last name in a public chat, just didn't even think about it and rolled with it just now. But both Mark and I don't know how Mark really feels about it. Now this is going to be out publicly and everyone's going to see it. But I go by Alyssa Jean for a reason. I prefer not to have my last name out there. And I totally just read it and went along with it because I wasn't thinking. But generally, if you could try to avoid doing that, that would be appreciated. But now everyone knows, so whatever. Whatever. This video is going to get like 80 views if it does really well, so that's fine. So I gotta ask: does a bear shit in the woods? No, actually. So the bears, they leave the woods. They go into the city. They go into a rest area or like, yeah, usually a Walmart or something actually, and they wait in line to use the restroom, and they go into the bathroom. Of course, they shit in the woods. Yes. It is a dumb saying, though. I think it's a really stupid saying, but yeah, they shouldn't. That's I hate that saying, to be perfectly honest with you. So Maddie Jester said the only part of America I visited is Florida. No bears, but some guy brought an alligator into a hotel, and I really shat myself. Yeah, alligators are a big thing down there in Florida. That's the only place that I have seen them in the wild. I've seen them in zoos and stuff, but also fucking mosquitoes. That's what I think of with Florida. Is all hot and muggy, and also their politics suck. Also, their I don't know if this made international news, but the state of Florida is passing what is being called the "Don't Say Gay" bill, like where you're not allowed to. Teachers are not allowed to even acknowledge that gay people or people like trans people exist. So Florida fucking sucks politically, anyways. Which is interesting because I know there are definitely a lot of people who live there who do not believe in that shit, but somehow they've just elected some really horrible people. Let's see. Life in the Void says Florida man. Yep. Let's see. Brandon says, "Damn, I would have pissed myself for sure." Yeah. Yep. Yeah, alligators are kind of creepy. Bears, I'm fine with. Alligators, I don't know. I'm not a reptile person. I have a coworker who has pet snakes and talks about them obsessively all the time. Like, he's obsessed with pet snakes. And that's, I don't begrudge him his obsession. Like, I'm obsessed with Star Trek. I'm obsessed with the Grateful Dead and Fish, which other people aren't. So I can't begrudge anyone their obsessions. But I'm definitely not a reptile person. So that's probably why alligators and crocodiles like freak me out more than like a bear would. Like, you know. Let's see. Not what a man needs at breakfast, to be honest, Brandon mate. But raccoons so cute. I wish they were here. I would have a raccoon family. Yeah. There are people who think they're cute, but they're actually little fuckers. I mean, they are cute, but they're fuckers. You guys have kangaroos and koalas, though. They're fun. Yeah, you guys have kangaroos and koalas. So, I remember Mark telling me, no, wait, he didn't just tell me. I was there. Hold on. Okay, let me access my memory. So, as if you all may know, Mark was married to a New Zealand woman for a while, and that's why he moved there. And yeah, she was living in the States for a bit, and we went to the Washington D.C. Zoo, which is a very good zoo. It was one of the only zoos at the time. Only the San Diego Zoo and the Washington Zoo had pandas. I don't know if that's still true, but anyway, so I went to the zoo with them, and Katie, I don't know if she's there, but whatever. Mark's ex, she saw squirrels just kind of running around and like going up trees and stuff, like outside of cages. She's like, why are they not in a cage? Because squirrels were an exotic animal to her, and for us, they're like fucking everywhere. Like, squirrels are like little rats with big bushy tails. They're cuter than rats. I mean, squirrels are cuter than rats. My dog used to love to chase squirrels all the time. He's too old now to do that, but he used to always chase squirrels, and they would run up the tree. Squirrels are everywhere. But she was like, why are they not a part of the zoo? Because it was an exotic animal to her. And to us, like kangaroos and koalas. Although when I was a little kid, I have this very clear memory that there was this kangaroo one day that was like just hopping down the street in front of my house. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was I mean, I was a little kid, so I probably didn't think that exactly, but it was such a surreal moment. And I found out like there was some dude who was like I don't know, I forget what the story was exactly, but he like somehow had this kangaroo and it got loose. But that is not something you would see in the States normally. Let's see, where are we? Brandon says life in the void, and I can send you some possums. Be more annoying than the raccoons if you wish. We got possums here. And they might be different than the ones you have, but we got them. Let's see. Mazzy's is awesome. Life in the void says, yeah, I lived in the regional NSW with many roos, and they were very lovely and shy. Only seen koalas in nature parks. I don't think I saw. Do they have koalas in New Zealand too, or is it just Australia? Because I don't remember seeing any koalas. LOL, Brandon had a possum living in the roof. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know if it's different here where you guys are, but I guess technically here they're called opossums, and everybody just calls them possum. I was dating this woman for a brief period of time who actually had a pet opossum. I didn't date her long enough to actually get to meet the possum, but she always called it an opossum. And pet possums are very rare. Like, so it was very like, I was like, whoa, you have a pet possum? And she's like, no, I have a pet opossum, because that's technically what they're called. The raccoons were the best cartoon show when I was a kid. I don't know that one. It must be a British thing. Are you familiar with Peppa Pig? My ex used to, for a short period of time, she was nannying. That's why I went to Scotland, because my ex was nannying some kids in Scotland, and they watched Peppa Pig obsessively. So that's how I know Peppa Pig. It was really irritating because I'm not a kid. Let's see. Red squirrels here are rare. Gray squirrels are unpopular, and people don't like them too much. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Raccoons here, I think, are real more annoying to me than squirrels are. Squirrels are, whatever. They're everywhere. Yeah, they're whatever. They are what they are. Um, Life in the Void says, sorry, I meant that I kept catching and releasing, but Possum had sweet deal and kept returning. Um, Brandon says, I think koalas are just an Aussie thing. Yeah, they might be. Mark probably knows the answer to that question. And I think you're right. I think they are just a Aussie thing. I just couldn't remember. Um, I used to know a bloke who had a pet gala named Mr. Spock, truly. What is a gala? That is an unfamiliar animal to me. Um, Describe it. um, but I love that it was named Mr. Spock, whatever kind of animal that is. What do y'all think about Ethan Peck as Mr. Spock? I like him. I like him way fucking better than Zachary Quinto. I'm sorry, I never liked Zachary Quinto as Spock. He's fine. He was fine as the evil guy in Heroes, but yeah, that was a bit of a tangent because you said Mr. Spock. Oh, Maddie doesn't know what a gala is either. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm glad. So it's definitely an Australian thing that does not exist in the UK or the US. Um, it's a bird like a larger parrot. I went ahead and corrected you and read your misspelling, which you corrected yourself. Gala is pink gray parrot type and not known for braininess. Hmm. So it's unusual to have one as a pet then? I mean, because, people have pet parrots and shit here. I think that's dumb, but personally, just, but I shouldn't say that. It's not, that's a judgy word. Like, just like as I said with the person who has the pet snakes, I don't, that's his thing. So if you want to have a bird that just sits there and does nothing all day and doesn't get to fly or, that's your thing. I mean, to me, it's weird. People do it. So is a gala then an unusual pet, or is that a fairly common pet as far as birds go? Do I like clean shaven Spock or beardy Spock? No, it's a clean shaven Spock. But I mean, I liked beardy Spock for the purposes of discovery, but I think that for now for Strange New Worlds, now he's back on the Enterprise. You got to get back to clean shaven Spock because now he's got to start moving toward developing into the Spock we knew. So he needs to become more and more Spock like the Spock that we know. And the first part of that is shaving that fucking beard off. But I did like it in Discovery. A lot of beards. We were talking last time about the Pike beard and the Obi-Wan beard, and a lot of great beards. No, I loved Ethan Peck's beard in Discovery, but I think now he definitely has to be clean shaven to be more in character. And I did notice in the Spock trailer, even though it's very short, we only get little tidbits here and there, that he is more Nimoy like than he was before, and that's what I like to see. I want to see him getting more toward the Spock that we know, and I think that's what they're doing here. But he needs to be clean shaven for that. Let's see. Life of the Beard Void says Beardy Spock. And it almost looks like you're doing the evil. I know that's probably not what that actually is, that emoji, but it looks like you're doing the live long and prosper thing. Is it this or is it? I think it's the other way. Oh, it's the way that's harder. I think it's this way. I think it's this way. Anyways, the live long and prosper thing. What it looks like you're doing. Yeah, I like the Beardy Spock. Brendan Spall says I do not like Beardy Spock. Or Brendan House says I do not like Beardy Spock. Well, Brandon, as my brother likes to say, it's okay to be wrong sometimes. Beardy Spock was great, but I wouldn't like it if it was Beardy Spock in Strange New Worlds. Like, he needs to be clean shaven for this show. In Strange New Worlds, he looks kind of like Simeon. Who's it? Censors. Censors? Oh, censors. I love that pronunciation. Yeah, I think that was. Did Spock say centaurs too? I think that was more of a Tuvok thing, but maybe Spock was doing that too. But that's one of my favorite scenes in season 1 of Lord X, where the Admiral was like sensors and Mariner was just like, "You say sense? Did you just say sensors?" Cracked me up. I love that sensors, but I remember like Tuvok said that all the time. Did Spock also? He probably did. Out of the chat, so there's no more chat, so that always means I need to take a drink. Yeah. I'm sorry, but you're wrong, as Mark says. No, Mark says, no, it's okay for you to be wrong. Actually, no, Mark got that from Darren. We would do live discussions with Darren and be like, that's okay for you to be wrong. Which I think is hilarious. Oh, by the way, speaking of Darren and speaking of Moon Knight, which I was talking about earlier, I am going to be joining Darren on his channel for one of his Moon Knight discussions for episode 5, which is April 28th. So actually 2 days before we're going to talk about Strange New Worlds, I'm going to be on D's Reviews. So make sure you mark that on your calendars, because you should be subscribed to D's Reviews. And make sure you ring the bell for the notification so you know. But if not, make sure you put that on your calendar. And I'm sure Mark is going to be on at one time, but I don't know. Darren doesn't tell me the whole schedule. He just told me when I'm going to be on it, and I don't even know who I'm going to be on with. So I don't know when Mark's going to be on it, but I think Mark's going to do one as well. Let's see. Simeon means ape-like. Okay. Not familiar with that term. Spock Trailblaze sensors. Okay. It's probably because I just did the Voyager binge recently that I just think of Tuvok say that all the time. Okay, what time? You're asking about the Darren thing? Yeah, his every week at 6:00 on Thursdays, my time, 9:00 East Coast time. So whatever that translates to you. So I guess a couple hours after this, since this started at 4, whatever a couple hours after that is, but on Thursdays. And he's been doing it every Thursday. I didn't watch it. I actually was busy on Thursday evening, so I didn't get a chance to watch his first one. He had Rob and Corey on it. I really love the people that I've met through D's Reviews. Like Corey is awesome. Rob, when I first saw him, seemed like kind of like a grumpy guy, to be honest, but I actually really love Rob. He's really awesome. He's really fun to do discussions with. I did in January, I went on his channel, do like the 2021 in review, and then we talked about our favorite Marvel thing. It was really fun. Rob is awesome. So it was Rob and Corey this week. I don't know who it is next week. He has different people every week. And then all I know is I'm in episode 5 on April 28th. But let's see. Manny says, are you looking forward to the new Kelvin Timeline movie, Chris Pine and all those gang? This is something that Mark and I are on the same page of. Although Mark likes some of the later films more than I do. Like he liked what was the last one they did? Was it Beyond? I don't know. Which is, I thought it was fine, but I just hate the whole idea of the Kelvin timeline. And as I said, Zachary Quinto is way too emotional as Spock, and I don't know. It's really hard for me to reconcile that these characters are supposed to be alternate versions of the characters we know. Like they just seem like totally different characters to me. So yeah, I mean, will I watch it? Probably, but am I looking forward to it? No, I don't really give a fuck about it, honestly. I'll probably see it in some sense of obligation because it has the word Star Trek in it. But I don't give a shit about it, honestly. If they never made another one of those fucking things again, I would not care. Let's see. I like Beyond. Okay, yeah, it was Beyond. That was yeah, it was fine. I mean, as far as those go, um, in Life in the Void says there's definitely going to be one. Well, they're saying there is, but they've been saying that on and off for the last like 10 years or whatever. Not 10 years, but however long it's been since Beyond. They keep saying, oh, we're definitely going to have what they call Star Trek 4, which is bullshit because Star Trek 4 is the Voyage Home, which, by the way, I need to watch soon because I'm going to be reviewing it for next week's video. But yeah, they keep calling it Star Trek 4, which pisses me off because it's not Star Trek 4. But they've been saying it for years now. So nothing is definite, but they're acting like it's definite. Brandon says Fridays for me, International Dateline, and that fun stuff. Yeah, Friday, but I know that. But Friday at what time? Maddie says, yeah, JJ turned up the Paramount event and talked about it. Yeah, yep. Mark is blowing a lot of raspberries lately. Again, a family trait. No, it's not a family trait. I definitely just blatantly ripped that off from him. Like that's a Mark thing that I took from him. So it's not a family thing at all. It's a Mark thing specifically, and I enjoy it. So I kind of stole it from him. So yeah, it's a Mark thing. He has been doing a lot of those lately, hasn't he? It's fun. It's fun. That's why I stole it from him. Lots of fun. Brandon says, I've not seen Beyond. Okay, the first 5 minutes, but it was too silly. Yeah. If you never see it in your life, you're not going to regret it. You'll be fine. I mean, as far as those the whatever Kelvin movies go, it's fine. But I just don't like the whole Kelvin timeline thing. Yeah, he says, I thought it was a Mark thing. Yeah, it is. Yep. It is. I borrowed it from him. All right, hour and 6 minutes. I get to go longer this time. Last month I had to cut myself off because I had another obligation. This week, I don't got shit to do, so stay here and hang out with you all you want. Eventually, I'll get tired of being on here and then have to go. I thought I had run out of things to say about 45 minutes ago, but you guys are great. Thank you for just keep bringing up topics, and I love the random topics too. I love asking about bears. Like, so they went on for like 10 minutes about bears. So, not bears. So I love Saturday Night Live reference. Anyways, I don't think Mark likes Picard season 2 all that much. I can't disagree. I am more on the same page of Mark after this week. Like the previous week, Mark gave the episode a 4 and was railing against it, and I was like, actually, no, I think it's fine. Like I didn't love it. Episode 4 was my least favorite. I still ended up giving it a 7, and it was like, no, I think I'm still optimistic. And then this episode like retroactively makes me like episode 4 less. So I'm kind of closer to where Mark is now, and I was apprehensive coming into the season, as I talked about in previous live chats, that I was apprehensive about it. I didn't like the whole time travel thing. I didn't like the whole alternate timeline thing. It's been done a gazillion times. I didn't like that they were having Brent Spiner play yet another fucking Soong. That is so ridiculous. Mark made a good fun of that in his latest review, which I got a kick out of. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. So I still might be slightly higher on it than Mark is, but I think we're getting closer to each other. I'm rapidly losing faith in it. But you know what? Like, the other two, like the main two YouTubers that I watch for Trek content are Jesse Gender and Trek Culture, which is Sean Ferrick usually does the weekly reviews, the ups and downs. They were both way more positive on Picard than I am, but Sean Ferrick was more negative on Discovery than I was. He bitched and complained about episode 11, which I actually really liked of Discovery. That's the one where they go down to the planet, like have all those little the emotional gas and all that stuff. Not gas like farting, but you know what I'm talking about. Um, he hated that one. He was way more negative on it, but then he's more positive than me on on Picard, and Jesse Ginger is more positive than me on Picard, like way more positive than I am on Picard. She will get like she gets really like deep. She's like, oh well, I love how they have the themes of this and that and these different themes that they're having, and I'm like, yeah, but it sucks. um, so I watched those two reviews before I did my review, and I'm like, oh, I guess people think this is a good episode, but it's just those two. I don't know what the general sense of it is, but I knew that Mark would be in agreement with me. But I did notice that Mark had slightly different complaints than I had, but we both ended up giving it a 4. Life in the Void says, I liked it, Brandon. I've never seen plot holes until I watched the pitch meeting. Still recovering from the Roy Story pitch meeting. Toy Story. Okay, yeah. Oh, I haven't watched the Toy Story one in a while. Maybe I'll rewatch it. I've seen all of the pitch meetings, but I don't remember what he said in the Toy Story one. Maybe I'll rewatch it. Have you watched Raised by Wolves? I just finished the first episode of season 2. Yeah, and this is actually something I think Mark is a little higher on than me. I didn't particularly love season 2 of Raised by Wolves, which for reasons I can't say because I don't want to spoil it for you. You watch it and make your own opinion. Because I did have a brief exchange with Mark about. I was talking to Mark, I don't know, for some other reason, and we were talking about Raised by Wolves, and this is before the season had completed. And I was asking him what he thought about it because I wasn't loving it, and he was more positive on it than I was. And I don't know now that the season is complete if he's still positive on it, but I didn't do an official review or anything. But every show that I watch, I added into my top 10. Because eventually at the end of the year, I'm going to do a top 10 in 2020. So I put it in there. And there's not 10 shows yet. I've watched 6 so far. But I put it in, rank them. And then this year, what I'm doing is writing down my rating for each of them. And I gave Raised by Wolves Season 2 a 6. Thinking about a 5. I didn't love it. But Mark's higher on it than I am. So, Brandon, you'll have to make your own determination what you think of it. You tend to agree more with the person who has the more negative opinion. I'm sorry to tell you that, but you kind of do. Mark and I have talked about that, so you probably more agree with me. But yeah, I didn't love season 2. Let's see. You were surprised that both Mark and I gave Fly Me to the Moon a 4. I'm not. I mean, I figured we'd be on the same page of that because, well, I knew after I saw it that I was giving it a 4, and I knew Mark would too. Another random question: drive-in movie theaters, are they a big thing in America now? They don't exist here. It pisses down with rain too much. Oh no. They haven't. I mean, they exist, but they are very rare. They were a big thing when I was a kid. So if you recall from my Star Trek the Motion Picture review, I talked about going and seeing that in the drive-in theater. I remember that shitty fucking sci-fi movie called The Black Hole with this little robot that was floating. I had a toy of that robot. It was like floating in the air, and it was like a total Star Wars ripoff. That movie was boring as fuck. But I remember seeing it was kind of like the motion picture actually. I remember seeing that in the drive-in, and it's all a bunch of like Disney movies, like Snow White and Cinderella probably, and all that sort of shit, and the drive-in. So they were a big thing in like the 70s and 80s, but since then they are virtually non-existent. But there are some here and there, and I think the last movie I saw in a drive-in was X-Men 3. X-Men 2 or X-Men 3, X-Men The Last Stand. Was that X-Men 3? Which was a shitty fucking movie. That was like 2005, I think, 2006. And even then, it was rare. And they still exist. There's one in Oregon that's like 45 minutes from Portland that has films in the summertime. But they're very, very, very rare. They're not like they used to be in the 70s and 80s, early 80s, really. I think by the mid 80s, they were already becoming extinct. Let's see. Jessie's amazing at how she understands subtext and meanings. She is some super brain there. Yeah. She's really, and she's much more articulate than I am. But she also likes the Enterprise theme song. So there are things that I disagree with her on very, very strongly. But yeah, she's got a great intellect. She's very articulate. I wish I was as articulate as she is. What did I apologize? You said no, don't apologize. That's a fair call. What did I apologize for? I forget already. I guess it just means I have to drink more. I like there's one left in Melbourne. Oh, so there's a drive-in left in Melbourne? Cool. I watched The Black Hole recently and it had a weird kind of charm. Oh, really? You've watched it recently? I remember hating it as a kid, and then everything that I've heard about it since then has been that it's a terrible movie and everyone hates it. So I was like, oh, I wasn't unusual in my opinion. I remember like just not understanding it and being bored as fuck with it. And yeah, just like the motion picture, actually. And Brandon said, oh, wait, hold on. Get back up to Matty Jester. Have you ever been stopped in, say, the supermarket, like, hey, Alyssa, I love your reviews? Never. And never, ever, 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 ever. And previously, before I was Alyssa, when I was acting Tomko, not once. And never, ever, ever, ever. I have even acting Tomko, I had like 5,000. I think I got up to 6,000 subscribers. And I still never, because most of them are, other parts of the world, other parts of the country. I don't think any of them like live in Portland. So, and then Alyssa Jean's reviews, I'm thinking I'm up to 285 subscribers, and they're spread out all over the world. So, nope, that has never, ever, ever, ever happened. Let's see. Watch Charlotte Webb at a drive-in in Country Victoria, the year you were born. Oh, cool. I actually may have seen Charlotte's Web in the drive-in later as well, because they would show old movies, Well, actually, I think what Disney used to do is like they would always recycle those movies. Like Snow White would come out every few years, Cinderella would come out every few years, Charlotte's Web. So, yeah, I may have actually seen Charlotte Webb in the drive-in as well, but obviously it would have been not the year I was born. It would have been a little later than that. Yeah, and Mark was an infant when we went to see Star Trek: The Motion Picture, so I assume he was left at home with a babysitter. Like, why would you bring an infant with you to the drive-in? So I don't think Mark saw motion picture, but Mark was present for Wrath of Khan, but I think he said he has no memory of it at all. But he was there. I remember Mark was there. Remember. Okay. It's a puzzle to me why you don't have more subscribers. Well, I'm a new channel, barely been on for a year, and also I don't pay attention. Like Jesse Gender will always talk about the YouTube algorithms and like figuring out how to, best get viewers and subscribers. I don't pay attention to any of that shit. Also, a channel like Jesse Gender has she's got quality cameras, lighting, equipment, and I don't worry about that shit either. So that is probably why. Let's see. Brendan Howes, my folks say they took me to the drive-in when I was a baby. Oh, I don't know. Maybe my folks did that with Mark too. I don't know. Anthony Sullivan says drunk live stream. I don't know you, Anthony Sullivan. Welcome. Yes, this is a drunk live stream. The beauty of it is that I started off sober, so and I drink as we go. So I didn't get to get that drunk last month because it was 45 minutes. So this month, let's see where I'm at with my bottle of wine. I'm about halfway through. There was one, maybe like 2 streams ago, where I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, I've been drinking almost the whole bottle. Let's see. I saw Batman Forever when I was a kid. Somewhere dumped a whole large popcorn on my head. Oh, someone probably cost him like £5. I got free popcorn, so I got the last laugh. Huh? Which one was Batman Forever? Was that one of the George Clooney ones? I don't even remember. Oh, so I saw the Batman. Somebody asked me about that last month. I hadn't seen it yet, so I went to see it. That's pretty good. Oh, okay. Anthony Sullivan had said earlier, "Don't worry about her. Just walk and smile and walk." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he says, "UB40 red wine." Okay, gotcha. Crap. What was I just talking about? Oh yeah, Batman. The Batman. So, everyone's saying it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread and all that, and I don't think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but actually, as far as Batman movies go, it was pretty good. It was definitely good. But I still walk out of there with the question, did we really need another Batman movie? I still feel like no. But since we got one, then it was a pretty good one. It was a good one. Definitely the best rendition of the Riddler I've ever seen. Very unique take on the Riddler. Although I heard some comic booky people saying that the newer version of the Riddler in the comic books is more like that, but million times better than the ridiculous Jim Carrey version. The ridiculous Jim Carrey version, super cartoonish. I remember that. I forget which one that was. Was that Batman Forever with the Riddler and then Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face, and they were like in the back of this car going, I was like, God, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. This Riddler, much less like the traditional comic book cartoonish Riddler with the mask and all of that, but a much more interesting villain. And I like the Catwoman. Oh fuck, what's that chick's name? She hosted Saturday Night Live recently. I like her as Catwoman. She's like the Halle Berry Catwoman done well. So yeah, no, I like the movie. This is the greatest thing ever. No, but and did we need another Batman movie? I don't know, but I liked it. Let's see. So if we keep you on, you get drunker. Yeah, that's how it works. But eventually I will get tired of it and get off and want to go make some food. See, the thing about me drinking is that the more I drink, the hungrier I get, especially since, I had a breakfast burrito around 11 o'clock. And I think that's the only thing I've eaten. So eventually I'm going to get hungry and I'm going to want to get off of here. So you won't get me to finish this whole bottle online. Let's see, where are we at? Okay, Manny Jester, yeah, I asked about the new Batman, but it's like 3+ hours. I can't be arsed. I'll watch it someday. Yeah, you know what? It goes by. It's a 3-hour movie that it flows well. Like it goes by. You don't notice that it's 3 hours, or at least I didn't. It's Some 3-hour movies you really feel it, but this one I felt like it kind of goes by. It's a good flow to it. I liked it. Um, yeah, you should watch it someday, Maddie. You shouldn't have to go to the theater. I think, at least in the States, I think it's coming on HBO Max pretty soon. So I could have actually waited a couple weeks and seen it for free, or seen it for, the price that I'm already paying for HBO Max, not an additional price. But I was really curious, and I had the week off for spring break. So, but yeah, if you don't want to be arsed for a 3-hour movie, I get you. Yeah, but you should watch it eventually. It's not bad. You got Sistel, great movie, Liar Liar. Oh, because I mentioned Jim Carrey earlier. Did I ever see Liar Liar? I don't even remember if I saw that one. I used to be really into the Ace Ventura movies, but not so much anymore. Let's see. Brandon says, oops, hold on. Adam West will always be my Batman Gods Below. I'm old. Yeah, you are old because I mean, Adam West, I used to watch the Adam West version when I was a kid. For me, it was reruns because it was before I was born that it was on. But to me, Michael Keaton changed Batman. I almost said Batman Forever, but that sounds like I'm talking about that movie. But it changed Batman for all of time. Because before Michael Keaton, Batman didn't go around talking like, I'm Batman. Like, now every version of Batman talks like that, but none of them talked like that before. Well, I'll give Tim Burton the credit. It was probably Tim Burton who decided to do that. So Michael Keaton is the thing for me. And even though I saw Adam West first, Adam West was always so fucking hokey. I mean, he's so ridiculous. Zoe Kravitz. Thank you. Is she the daughter of Lenny Kravitz? Or is it just the same last name? Yeah, really good as Catwoman. Yeah, and she did a good job on Saturday Night Live as well. See, The Wolf of Wall Street, more wine. Wait, what? What about The Wolf of Wall Street? Okay, it's hard to get HBO Max outside the USA. Really? Huh. That's a shame. I like HBO Max. You get everything from HBO on it. We'll get obviously I'll get the House of the Dragon. Oh, that's another thing I was going to talk about. House of the Dragon. I don't know if this is accurate. I'm going to assume it is, but I read an article somewhere. I think it was on Screen Rant, which is pretty reliable. That House of the Dragon has been announced for August. So now we have a month, and then Lord of the Rings is a September, and then Wheel of Time is probably not. So we're gonna the latter half of the year going to be a lot of fantasy stuff. Looking forward to that. I am not sure what I'll think of House of the Dragon. I'm not sure. I had it on my list of 3 films I'm not looking forward to in 2022, just because I have such a bad taste in my mouth from Game of Thrones. But I'm curious. I wouldn't say looking forward to, but curious, very curious what they're going to do with that. So August on HBO Max for me. Let's see. Be smart. It's free with every bottle of wine. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Anthony Sullivan, you keep saying things that I don't get at first, but then I get it later. I was like, oh, okay. Good to have a new person in here. To be perfectly honest, sometimes when I get a new person in here, I get a little suspicious if it's some kind of troll because I'm so used to the regulars. But you seem very cool, Anthony Sullivan, so you're fine. Let's see, Manny Jester. I never got into Game of Thrones. If the new one is good, let me know. What? Manny Jester? Do you not know that that's what really was me and Mark's bread and butter? That's what got us all the subscribers that we used to have. Before I was Alyssa, before I transitioned and I went by Acton Tomko, which of course was just my I don't want to say stage name, but my pseudonym, I guess would probably be the better term. That was never my real name. But I went by that, and that's how I got up to 6,000 subscribers. It was all Game of Thrones. So I just kind of assume that anyone who watches me and Mark used to watch our Game of Thrones content back in the day, but so it kind of surprises me, I guess, because I just didn't Maddie Jester watch all of our Game of Thrones videos? But I guess you didn't, because that's really where Mark and I made our names as much as they were, was from Game of Thrones prediction videos and then weekly reviews of Game of Thrones. And then we would do live discussions together. Those were the days. Those days are gone. Manny says, Brandon says, I subscribe to the channel named Binge, which is only available in Australia, and that's how I watch Raised by Wolves. Okay. Nom de plume, you mean? What? News just in, the wine gone to the head. News just in, the wine gone to the head. Yes. Sorry I watched the Star Trek chat mostly. No. You don't have to say sorry. I'm just surprised because I just kind of assume everybody who's a fan of Mark and I became a fan because of Game of Thrones, because that is true of like 99.9% of people, or at least the old school ones. Anyways, maybe you're not old school. How long have you been watching? I feel like you're old school. But maybe you're not. I think that it's going to be pretty close to the time where we're going to have to let this thing go, because this has become tiresome. Is this the drunkest that I've gotten on one of these? I'm not sure. It might be. But there was that one that I mentioned earlier where like I realized that I drank almost a whole bottle of wine, but I feel like I wasn't as drunk for that one. It's because it is Pinot Noir. That's why I am Alyssa Jean, the Pinot Queen. Let's see. Life in the Void. Star Trek is how I discovered Mark, then Alyssa. Okay, so Life in the Void, I don't remember you from the Act and Tomko days. The first time I ever noticed you was on my Alyssa Jean channel, so that makes sense to me. All right. See, Brandon Howes, who are you calling old school? You. you are one of the most oldest schools. And yeah, Brandon, I've known you since before you had a name before Cardinal Doomsday, which I don't remember, because I remember the first time you were in the chat as Cardinal Doomsday, you were like, oh, so this is my old name. And we're like, oh yeah, I remember you. Because I remember when you first showed up as Cardinal Doomsday, we were like, who the fuck is that? But then you told us. So you were like one of the most old school people in existence, Brandon, when it comes to me and Mark's channel. Also, Allison Fordyce, who I haven't seen in a little while, she kind of comes and goes. Marilyn Bentley, I haven't seen her in a while. Would love to see her again. Those are like old school people. Norman Buchwald, who joined us last month and also joined Mark and I for the Discovery discussion. He's pretty old school. Jeremy G. Orlando, who came to one of these a couple months ago, he's pretty old school. You're the old school people. So it's not just you, Brandon, but you're one of them. See, you should be eating something, Alyssa. Well, I know. That's why I'm going to have to get off of here soon so I can go eat something. Kind of feel like what do I feel like eating? I'm going to think about that. After I get off of here, I'll think about that. I got plenty of food. I just went to Costco. Do you guys have Costco or something similar in your countries? I feel like it's a very American thing. So if you don't know what Costco is, it's like one of those stores where like you buy everything in bulk for bargain prices. Like you get it ultimately for cheaper, but like, you buy giant jars of things for for like $10 or $12 or whatever, like giant packages of things. Do you guys have those sort of stores? Um, Cab Sav Queen. No, 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 no. This month I am the Pinot Queen. Get with the times. Cab Sav Queen was so February. Levin Mulder. Yes, that was your original name. I forgot about that. Thank you for sharing that. I forgot all about that. Did you get that from X Files? I know his first name wasn't Levin, but Mulder. Let's see. Gee, thanks. Love you too. Oh, I didn't say I loved you, but okay. I'm kidding. Joe Biden, old school. Okay, we do. I never use it though. Australia has Costco, but I've never been in one. Okay. Yeah, they're interesting places. Like giant. Yeah, we also have Sam's Club, which is the same thing, but it's a competing company. All right, you guys. I think I'm done. Brandon is right. I do need to go eat something. So I think I've had enough. This is great because about an hour ago, I was just like, what else do we have to talk about? We don't have anything else to talk about. But you guys kept coming up with topics, even random ones, and I love it. So thank you guys so much. And I think that I really am going to get out of here. So thank you, Brandon Howes. Thank you, Anthony Sullivan. Thank you, Life in the Void. And thank you, of course, to Maddie Jester for providing me with my first topic of the evening earlier on, way back an hour and 36 minutes ago. All right, everyone. I am outie. We'll see you very soon. Please check out my Picard reviews and all of that stuff and all the other stuff. I got a calendar video. You can see what I'm doing. And I'll be back for my next live stream on April 30th, where I'm going to preview Strange New Worlds, and hopefully Mark will be able to join. So it'll be the two of us, just the two of us, and then we'll probably not be drinking as much wine. I usually have a little bit of a drink when I do the things with Mark, but it's not like this. Like I just maybe have a sip here and there, and it's not very much. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. I will see you next time. Goodbye.